Hello, hello, hello. Here I am, thinking about my family, which I do every day. But sometimes when I miss my family, I think, what could I do to connect somehow with them? So guess what? A book it is. Here's the next one, Extra Yarn. And I know somebody pretty special that I love has this book. So we're going to do what we usually do. Turn the pages when you hear ding. I brought my little bell. So yeah, this book was written by Barnett and illustrated. So all the drawings inside were made by John Clausen. And I love what it says right in the front, in the inside cover. This looks like an ordinary box full of ordinary yarn, but it turns out it isn't. What's this story going to be about? All right, let's go to the first page. Here we go. You ready? Have you got your book? Okay. On a cold afternoon, kind of like today, in a cold little town, kind of like here, where everywhere you looked was either the white of snow or the black of soot from chimneys. Is there snow in Squamish? Annabelle found a box filled with yarn of every color. So she went home and knit herself a sweater. And when Annabelle was done, she had some extra yarn. Nice. So she knit a sweater for Mars too. Mars is her little doggy. But there was still extra yarn. How about that? And when Annabelle and Mars went for a walk, Nate pointed and laughed and said, "You two look ridiculous." "You're just jealous," said Annabelle. "No, I'm not," said Nate. Oh, he's just being silly, isn't he? But it turned out he was. So he was jealous after all. And even after she'd made a sweater for Nate and his dog, and for herself and for Mars, she still had, you guessed it, extra yarn. At school, Annabelle's classmates could not stop talking about her sweater. "Quiet," shouted Mr. Norman. The teacher is not happy. "Quiet, everyone. Annabelle, that sweater of yours is a terrible distraction. I cannot teach with everyone turning around to look at you." "Then I'll knit one for everyone," Annabelle said, "so they won't have to turn around." "Impossible," said Mr. Norman. "You can't." Well, that was thoughtful of her. But it turned out she could, and she did, even for Mr. Norman. He's got a big sweater on, doesn't he? And when she was done, Annabelle still had extra yarn. So she knit sweaters for her mom and dad. How nice. And for Mr. Pendleton and Mrs. Pendleton, and for Dr. Palmer, and for little Louie. Goodness, she's quite the knitter, isn't she? She made sweaters for everyone except Mr. Crabtree, who never wore sweaters or even long pants, and who would stand in his shorts with the snow up to his knees. Goodness. "No sweater for me, thanks," said Mr. Crabtree. So guess what she made? Can you see that on your book? She made Mr. Crabtree a hat. And even then, Annabelle still had extra yarn. So she made sweaters for all the dogs and all the cats and for other animals too. Soon people thought, soon Annabelle will run out of yarn. But it turned out she didn't. So Annabelle made sweaters for things that didn't even wear sweaters. Goodness, look at all that, even the mailbox. Birdhouse, everything. Gosh, houses. Things began to change in that little town. Goodness, everything has a sweater. How much yarn can you possibly have? Turn the page. News spread of this remarkable girl who never ran out of yarn, and people came to visit from around the world to see all the sweaters and to shake Annabelle's hand. She was famous. One day, an archduke, who was very fond of clothes, sailed across the sea and demanded to see Annabelle. Wow, she is famous. "Little girl," said the archduke, "I would like to buy that miraculous box of yarn, and I am willing to offer you $1,000,000. Would you do it?" "No, thank you," said Annabelle, who was knitting a sweater for a pickup truck, just like that. The archduke's mustache twitched. 2,000,000, he said. Annabelle shook her head. "No thanks." 10,000,000, shouted the archduke. "Take it or leave it." "Leave it," said Annabelle. "I won't sell the yarn." And she didn't. So that night, the archduke hired 3 robbers to break into Annabelle's house. And they stole the box and took it to the archduke, and who set off across the snow and sailed over the sea. What a bad guy he is. Back to his castle. The archduke put on his favorite song and sat in his best chair. Then he took out the box and he lifted its lid and he looked inside. What's inside? His mustache quivered. It shivered. It trembled. The archduke hurled the box out the window and shouted, "Little girl, I curse you with my family's curse. You will never be happy again." Why do you think he said that? Why was he so angry? There was nothing in the box, right? Look, there's nothing in the box. It's empty. Oh my gosh, what the heck? This is magic. But what do we see floating? Turn the page. Ah, it came back to her, didn't it? Turn the page. It turned out she was. Oh my gosh. It turned out she was. Ha! Did he really curse her? No. She was magical. And maybe the box was too. Who knows? But you can't stop a good thing. right? You can't take it away from someone. That's a really cool story. I hope you liked it. I really liked it. It's perfect. Perfect for today. And I just want to know I'm thinking of you guys. And I hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying your day. Talk to you later. See you soon. Bye.